I was eating dinner in a restaurant in New York, and I was sitting with some friends, and he came over to the table, and he said, "Frank, do me a favor, will you?" He said, "I'm sitting with a very pretty girl, and I'm trying to make out, you know." And he said, "I told her I know you, and she really doesn't believe me. Would you stop by the table?" I said, "All right." I was just about finished. I was down to the espresso, and finally he went back, and I walked by the table, and I said, "How are you, Don? Nice to see you." He said, "Can't you see I'm eating, Frank? What are you doing?"
All right, so this is the last response I'd like to share with you from Matt Taruli's SVA advertising class. And if you've joined me throughout this whole series, I want to say thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate you sharing your time with me. Now, I think it's fitting that we end on this note because we'll be talking about one of my favorite places in the whole wide world, Trader Joe's. I quite literally grew up on Trader Joe's, and if I buy groceries from anywhere else, it always feels like a compromise. Now, that being said, it's quite difficult to come up with ad ideas for Trader Joe's because Trader Joe's is one of the few companies out there that does not need to spend money on traditional advertising. And this is primarily demonstrated by the fact that Trader Joe's does not spend money on traditional advertising. We have a Forbes article over here that explains how they allocate their marketing spend. What Trader Joe's is able to do is consistently leverage the most effective form of advertising there is, word of mouth. In my opinion, any other form of advertising is quite frankly triage. And if you're a company that's spending significant amounts of money on advertising, well, that means that your customers are not raving about your products nearly enough. Of course, I'm not saying that traditional advertising isn't effective. Of course, there are many companies out there that are able to use traditional advertising to generate sales. And sometimes advertising is so powerful that it's able to transform an ordinary product into something special, even if there are virtually identical products on the same shelf. And we can see this practice in action through this seltzer ad right over here. So what are we in a position to contribute to Trader Joe's through traditional advertising? Again, my belief is that there really isn't that much. I mean, we can go to the Fearless Flyer and write copy like clean eating dirt cheap, but I'm more motivated to bring new experiences, new reasons for fans like me and hopefully you to fall in love with Trader Joe's even harder. So with that being said, here are some ideas that I have for you in that pursuit. The first idea I totally stole from my mom, and it's a really great idea, so I owe her a fairly large percentage when the time comes. A Trader Joe's collaboration with Zillow. Every time you go to a listing on the site, you click a button that essentially shows you the nearest Trader Joe's. I genuinely believe that proximity to Trader Joe's influences property value to some degree, like being near a good school district does. Number 2 centers on a new iteration of one of my favorite childhood books, The Very Hungry Caterpillar. If you're not familiar with this book, you gotta check it out. No spoilers, but this is one hungry caterpillar. Boy, does it love to eat. So I was thinking that we could have a book of the hungry caterpillar munching through some iconic Trader Joe's products. I would love to see my favorite Trader Joe's foods communicated through the textures and hues of the hungry caterpillar. And I think a lot of families out there would feel the same way. Parents can read the book to their kids and they can find the items featured in the book when they shop together in the store. So Trader Joe's can be a vehicle of cultivating synaptic connections for a whole new generation of children. Number 3 is an idea for a new type of Trader Joe's store, a late night convenience store that only has the snacks, some desserts, drinks, beer and wine depending on the state, and a grill and oven so they can serve hot food made from their frozen items and store ingredients. I realize I'm describing what is essentially a Trader Joe's bodega, which comes across as another win for gentrification. But let's say we want to be extremely deliberate about where we place our corner store. We want to make sure that this addition would be unequivocally net positive for virtually any neighborhood. So with that being said, let's buy out an existing 7-Eleven for the location of our corner store. The rationale for that is I believe that no one benefits from a 7-Eleven in their neighborhood. 7-Eleven is a steward of sin. There are very few products that you can buy that would benefit you at a 7-Eleven. Interestingly enough, the original Trader Joe's stores were convenience stores called Pronto Markets, and the founder, the original Trader Joe, pivoted to a more formalized grocery store chain because he thought the competition with 7-Eleven would be too fierce. Well, now I definitely believe that Trader Joe's has the brand to make this store exceedingly profitable, and it would be a very cool full circle moment with this context in mind. And that's all I have for you today. So I want to say thank you so much for joining me. In all my videos, this one included, I put a Calendly link, which would set up a Zoom call between us if you'd be interested. Basically, if you want to talk about the ideas in this video, if you want to talk about your ideas on the subject, anything in general, life, just getting to know each other, I would love to meet you. So with that being said, I hope you have a great day and talk to you soon. Bye.